teenagers are doing, I guess.
And so this foot, you have to keep it in the same exact spot the whole time. Ready? Right. 1, 2, 3, jump. That is so hard. It sure is.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. As you can see, this video is going to be in regards to this now trending invisible box challenge. And I'm not just talking about the stupidity of our society, that this is something that's trending. This is stuff that people are doing, and then they're uploading videos of themselves falling over, looking completely incompetent with all the things going on in the world. These people can't even look up and see the chemtrails that are being dumped on us every single hour of every single day. These are the things that they have the youth of America focused on. Now, when these things come out, you have to understand that they're deliberately things that go viral. They set these things to go viral. And then some of these people involved are plants. We saw this with the Ice Bucket Challenge, which was really a ritual baptism. And we saw it with the Mannequin Challenge at the same time last year. They are indoctrinating people with some of the beliefs and the rituals of the occult, of Satanism. Now, as you can see, what they have here is people pretending to be standing or stepping over an invisible box. I mean, it's just amazing to me that people are even practicing this. But remember what I've been talking about with blurring the lines, the stuff we saw with Pokemon Go, the stuff we're seeing with virtual reality, right? This is all in preparation for them to lift the veil, to bring over what's on the other side. People don't even know what's real and what's not real anymore, as far as what's sitting outside their house or outside their window, because people are living inside of a virtual reality. They're holding their phones in front of their faces, seeing Pokemons and chasing after them. Some people are walking off cliffs doing this type of stuff. And this is all conditioning people. It is getting people prepared to be chipped, getting people prepared for transhumanism, to be almost a robot in a sense, right? I mean, even though we already live in a society where everybody is a zombie robot walking around cluelessly. And this is the type of behavior, not only that they incite and want, which is just more of the dumbing down of society, getting all of these teens, to focus in on just walking around the streets, pretending to step over this invisible box. But it's also another type of indoctrination. Being invisible is an occult practice. Aleister Crowley would teach his followers, he teaches in his books about being invisible. Now, not literally him vanishing, but he believed that through the rituals that he practiced, through invoking demons and those types of things, and the power that he believed that he inherited through these rituals, which include blood sacrifice and pedophilia, that he literally could walk down any street in America, dressed however he wanted, wearing his satanic cloaks covered in blood, you name it. And people wouldn't see him, that he'd be invisible to them because he held such power over them. Such power over them that they wouldn't even look him in the eyes or notice that he was there, even though in the literal space he was there. This is a common occult practice. Now, I don't know if any of you have heard, maybe the most, I think in studying this stuff, and listen, I've seen so many of these stories, whether, about abducting kids, and, we talk about McMartin, I've talked about so many different things, and you guys messaged me about so many different things that have happened. This is one of the ones that, you don't hear people talk about. I will cover it in its own video at some point. And that is the murders in Mexico, which were known as the Matamoros murders, which were committed by cult leader Adolfo Constanzo. I can't say his name very well, but Adolfo Constanzo, who was a follower of Crowley, who was a follower of LaVey as well, who abducted and kidnapped people off of the streets. All of his members of his cult did, brought him back to this, house they had in Mexico, and literally they would butcher them on an altar. They would eat their flesh. And when they eventually caught these guys, this cult, they found so many bodies, so many bones. It's just absolutely frightening. And this guy actually believed through the rituals that he was performing that he was invisible, that he couldn't be seen. So when the cops came to arrest this guy literally drove for hours, for miles upon miles, with the cops behind him, and he still thought that he was invisible, that the cops couldn't see him because of all the deeds that he had done for Satan, all the ritual killings and all that stuff, and through Crowley's teachings. He thought literally that he was like walking around like the Invisible Man. And even though the cops were behind him flashing their lights telling him to pull over, he still didn't believe that they were coming for him. Eventually, and I do say thankfully, this guy ended his own life, because people like this are just so possessed and so sick and of the demon seed that they don't deserve to be walking here. They don't deserve to have the gift of life. But nonetheless, what he practiced and what a lot of these occultists practice is being invisible. This type of mentality of invoking spirits and demons and being able to completely cloak into being invisible through these powers. Now, this challenge is a little bit different. I'm not saying that people who perform this are performing a satanic ritual, because the people performing this are just completely clueless, right? This is just like the Charlie challenge, where they're getting kids to summon Charlie the demon and play this game. I have a video on it. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely make sure you check it out, to make sure your kids, if you have kids out there, that they're not trying these types of things, because this is ways to invoke spirits and have spirits attached to you, attached to your home, following you around, following your children around. And in this case, obviously, stupidity just reigns over society, where YouTube is promoting this. Celebrities are doing it, right? Celebrities are tweeting. That's how you know that it's part of an agenda, that somebody just didn't go, hey, guess what? I'm going to pretend to walk over an invisible box, and it's going to go viral on YouTube. Celebrities are going to do it. It's going to be on Saturday Night Live. No, they want to do it for a reason. And these things are to get people conditioned for things that are involved in the occult. Because remember, all of this stuff that they do and they practice, this is going to become normalized. We already see it becoming normalized, right? There's no genders anymore. You know, they're breaking all these boundaries down, and they're breaking and blurring the lines between what's real and what isn't real. And it being invisible is something that they believe very highly of. They believe certain things about nature. There's certain forms of magic that they practice and they believe, where they believe occult forces, in the literal sense of influences that are invisible or hidden, really do exist inside of nature as well. So again, I'm not saying if somebody practiced this, if you saw somebody do this, that they're a Satanist or occultist. No, absolutely not. They're just somebody who's clearly just being under mind control and doesn't even know what they're doing, which is 99% of society. But you have to remember, all these things, like the mannequin challenge last year we saw, okay, many people exposed it as a ritual, and that's exactly what it was, and that went viral. Just like the other thing I talked about, I don't remember what it's called now, where they dumped the water, ice bucket challenge, when they did that. And these are why these things go viral. They slowly indoctrinate people with occult practices. Now, I'm not saying the occult are walking around pretending to walk on invisible boxes, but it's just the mindset of that. It's the blurring of the lines, the bringing over what's on the other side. And soon everything that's on the other side will be on this side. And they pretty much, they're preparing people to not even care, to not even be afraid, to be, to be ready and willing and loving of it, right? This loving nature, this loving society that we see. So, if you see somebody walking the streets doing this, obviously you just shake your head that this is the kind of stuff that people are up to. Meanwhile, they don't want to look in the ingredients on their food that they're eating. They don't want to look up above their head at the chemicals being dumped on us. They don't want to look at the rise in diseases like autism and Alzheimer's, all through these vaccinations and all this stuff that's going on. They don't want to look at how much money's made through child trafficking and how many kids go missing. They don't want to look at any of that stuff. All people want to do is just do stuff like this, and they just continue to push this stupidity onto society. And people go along with it. They go, oh, it's just people having a good time. Lighten up. That's what they want. They want everyone to lighten up. Because then they can just keep getting away with whatever they want. Because the do without will mindset that they believe in and live by is just becoming the norm in today's society. So again, this is stuff that's going on. I mean, it makes you just want to pull your hair out of your head when you see it. Right? You go to YouTube trending and it's, I mean, my jaw just dropped just from being like, I mean, not even from the aspect of, understanding how they try to blur these lines and do that. So just from the aspect that people are thinking that this is cool and fun, and then if you search it, there's like thousands of videos of people doing this. Like who is sitting there watching somebody pretend to walk on a box? I mean, is this like mimes walking around? I mean, is this supposed to entertain people? No, it's supposed to indoctrinate. It's supposed to dumb down. And it's frightening to me that people just go along with stuff like this and they don't think mind control is real. Right? All you got to do is look at something like this and just go, how does this become viral? How does this become popular? How do you see your kids or someone else's kids in the street doing this, and then they go, oh, mind control's not real. Oh, yeah? Well, who influenced you to pretend to walk over an invisible box? Did you just come up with that yourself? I mean, give me a break. I thank you for listening to today's show. Hopefully people out there listening aren't walking over invisible boxes and are doing more important things with their time, like trying to wake people up to the truth of the world, and that's that Jesus Christ is the King of Kings. Wake people up to the lies of the world, which is everything we see going on day in and day out. The mainstream media lies, the agenda lies that they just push on everyone. It's scary out there, it really is. Especially when you see people doing this kind of stuff, you know? Somebody will be like, oh yeah, it's really scary. You know, someone's going to come and shoot me. I'm more scared of stuff like this when I see people acting this way. Because you lose hope in people. Because you just say, how dumb are people getting? And the answer is incredibly dumb. I thank you again for listening to today's show. God bless all of you and your families.